A 28-year-old convenience store clerk buys a lottery ticket on his lunch break. 6 weeks later, he is a millionaire. 18 months later, he is back behind the same counter, broke, and deeper in debt than before he won. This is not a rare story. According to the National Endowment for Financial Education, roughly 70% of people who receive a sudden financial windfall, including lottery winners, lose it within just a few years. To understand why, you have to look past the money itself and into the specific traps that catch nearly every winner on the way down. The first trap is sudden wealth syndrome. Psychologists use this term to describe the disorientation that hits people when their net worth changes overnight, faster than their identity or habits can adjust. The brain that spent decades budgeting for groceries is suddenly asked to manage a portfolio worth millions, with no transition period and no training. Studies on windfall recipients show this abrupt shift often triggers anxiety, guilt, and impulsive decision-making because the psychological skills needed to handle wealth are completely different from the luck required to win it. The second trap is lifestyle inflation. The moment the check clears, spending habits expand to match the new number in the bank account. A modest car becomes 3 luxury cars. A rented apartment becomes a mansion with a full staff. Jack Whitaker, who won a $314 million Powerball jackpot in 2002, was reportedly carrying hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash within weeks, funding an extravagant lifestyle that outpaced even his enormous winnings. Lifestyle inflation is dangerous precisely because it feels like a reward, when in reality it is a recurring monthly liability that never resets, even after the initial thrill fades. The third trap is the social pressure tax. Winners rarely get to keep their news private for long, and once word spreads, the requests begin. Old friends resurface, distant relatives call, and acquaintances suddenly remember shared history. Behavioral economists describe this as a redistribution pressure that windfall recipients face almost universally, and refusing it often carries a heavy social and emotional cost. Many winners give away or loan out startling percentages of their prize simply to preserve relationships, without ever running the numbers on how unsustainable that generosity actually is. The fourth trap is a straightforward lack of financial literacy. Managing a paycheck and managing a fortune require entirely different skill sets, covering taxes, investment diversification, and long-term planning. Most lottery winners have never had to think about capital gains, trust structures, or inflation-adjusted withdrawal rates, because they never needed to before. Surveys of past winners consistently show that very few sought out a certified financial planner in the first year of their windfall, despite it being the single highest leverage decision available to them. The fifth trap is exposure to bad investments and scams. Sudden, visible wealth makes a person a target. Winners are approached constantly with business proposals, speculative ventures, and outright fraudulent schemes, often pitched by people posing as friends or advisors. Callie Rogers, who won over £1 million in the UK at age 16, later described losing large portions of her winnings to failed investments and poor guidance from people she trusted. Without the pattern recognition that experienced investors develop over years of managing money, winners frequently cannot distinguish a legitimate opportunity from a predatory one until the funds are already gone. The sixth trap is the loss of purpose. Work, for most people, is not only a source of income, but also a source of structure, identity, and daily meaning. When winners quit their jobs immediately, they often lose the routines and social connections that gave their lives shape. Psychological research on retirement and windfalls shows that a sudden absence of purpose can lead to depression and reckless behavior, as people search for something, anything, to fill the void that a paycheck used to occupy alongside its function as income. The seventh trap is the legal and tax blind spot. Lottery winnings are taxed as ordinary income in most jurisdictions, and lump sum payouts can push winners into the highest tax brackets overnight. Many winners underestimate this obligation, spending against the full advertised jackpot rather than the smaller amount that actually lands in their account after taxes. Combined with legal disputes from ex-partners, business partners, or family members contesting the winnings, this trap alone has drained fortunes that seemed, on paper, more than large enough to last a lifetime. The eighth and final trap is hedonic adaptation, the well-documented psychological phenomenon where any new standard of living, no matter how luxurious, eventually starts to feel normal. The private jet stops feeling exciting. The mansion becomes just a house. Because the emotional high fades while the fixed costs remain, winners often chase the next big purchase, the next thrill, to recapture that initial rush, spending faster than their remaining principal can sustain. Put all 8 of these traps together, and a pattern emerges that has nothing to do with luck and everything to do with skill. The data is consistent across countries, decades, and prize sizes. Winning money and keeping money are two entirely separate abilities, and only one of them is determined by chance. The clerk behind the counter did not lose his fortune because he was unlucky a second time. He lost it because no one ever taught him how to hold on to what luck had handed him. And that lesson applies far beyond the lottery. Whether the windfall is a jackpot, an inheritance, a bonus, or a promotion, the real determinant of long-term financial security is not how much arrives, but whether the skill to manage it arrives with it.